everyone, and welcome to our March learning session on our Prisons to Monasteries program, the incredible day that Dr. Joe spent at Neza Bordo. We are so excited and grateful to have you here with us today. If you've joined us for one of our learning sessions before, welcome back. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. My name is Sophia, and I'm going to be your host today. I am the Senior Brand Manager at Give to Give, and I am joined by some very special guests. You know, this program began as a vision 4 years ago. It started as nothing but a dream in the heart of our chairwoman, Rose Cayola. And since then, it has become a movement. Thousands of lives have changed in prisons across the US and Mexico. And it is absolutely remarkable to witness all of the transformation that has taken place. Now, the people that I'm joined today are the NCS trainers that go into the prisons in the US and Mexico. These are a stellar group of individuals who have been training in companies and entrepreneurs for years before partnering with Give to Give to bring this work to the people that need it most. We call them our A-team because they are exactly that. They are a group of people that embody the work, they lead with heart, and they know how to teach this program back to front. They have personally witnessed so many lives transform. And so I wanted you to hear from them directly, because when you hear the impact that this has had on people's lives, you see their eyes light up, you see the impact that it's had on them personally, and it is so amazing to witness. So I'm going to pass it over to them here shortly. But before I do so, I wanted to go over the timeline for today and kind of give you the outline of how the whole session is going to go. So first off, they are going to tell the story of the program, where it came from, where we're headed, the story of the day that Dr. Joe spent at Neza Bordo. After they take you through this story, we are going to show you never before seen video footage that only the live call today is going to see on the day that Dr. Joe spent there. It's going to have footage of the meditations, of the different segments of the day that they spent, and it is just a heartwarming and touching experience. So I'm so excited for you guys to be able to see that firsthand. After we show that video, we're going to go into an open Q&A with our audience. You'll see that there's a little Q&A box in the bottom middle of your screen. And I'm asking that if you have any questions that come up, anything you want answered by our amazing consultants, please send it in the Q&A box, and I will invite you to have your question answered live. Alternatively, if you would like your question read by me instead of coming on air to have it answered, please specify that when you send it in, and I will read it for them to answer. After we do that, we're going to show a testimonial of somebody whose life was changed at this day in Neza Bordo, somebody that went through the programs and has had a remarkable transformation. After we show this testimonial, we are going to finish up by meditating together to Dr. Joe's Generating Change. We are so excited to have you here with us today, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I want to pass it over to the people that make this all possible, the ones that are just an absolute joy to work with and partner with in this endeavor of change. And I just have one question for you before we get started. And it's, are you ready to have your heart opened? And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sonia to get us started.
Thank you, Sophia. You describe it perfectly. Are you ready to have your heart opened? Because that's exactly what this project is all about, opening people's heart. This visit, as a matter of fact, for me, was an example of possibility. It was the result of more than 1,000 people that have been applying this work for the past year and believing in creation and possibility. As a matter of fact, this visit was a consequence of almost 3 years of work. Yes, this project started back in 2021. And it started when Give to Give Foundation questioned if it was possible to transform prisons into monastery by taking Dr. Joe's work and transforming individual by individual. That's why this project is actually called Prisons to Monasteries. So then Give to Give started to ask, okay, how are we gonna take Dr. Joe Dispenza's work into prisons? And the answer was simple. Through the program, Change Your Mind, Create New Results, which is a program from Neuroscience Solutions. As you have heard, or you may all be aware of, Change Your Mind, Create New Results. It's a program that was developed by Dr. Joe Dispenza with the intention of transforming corporations in order for them to understand the neuroscience of change. Now, when we start thinking as neurochange solutions consultants how to take this training to the next level, we decided that we've been delivering this program for so many years and we've been witnessing transformation in the corporate cultures that it should be easy. So the idea of applying this same program, this same information in prisons sounded a little challenging, but possible. When I was finally invited to deliver this first program, pilot program in Ecatepec prison back in November 2021 in Mexico City. So that's when this all started. Since the first training, I was able to witness how in these kind of places, when people have really touched their lowest point, we can really transform their lives by introducing the proper information of how the mind and the body works, and by teaching them very practical tools such as deep breaths or meditations. So that's when this project started to take off. After that pilot back in 2021 in Ecatepec prison, we started delivering this same program, Change Your Mind, Create New Results, every month for groups of 35 women that were registering voluntarily. Imagine that. More and more people came in and registered for the next program because they were observing how people were changing and behaving differently. So thanks to Give support, we were able to come every month and deliver a 3-day training. We bring in printed workbooks, food, beverages, equipment, blindfolds, everything that was required for them to really understand this work and feel completely engaged to continue to practice this work after we delivered the training. However, even though they were really interested in starting to change, what was a little challenging was to maintain them engaged and meditating without the proper support or interest of the warden in this prison or the team in this prison. So after 2 years, besides that, Fadwa and I had trained almost 400 women in 2 years in 2 different prisons in Mexico City. And last year, Juan Carlos just added up to the team and came in to open the way to men in a new prison called Neza Bordo. Neza Bordo, which is the prison that Dr. Joe Dispenza just visited last month, and which we'll be talking a lot about in detail today. So, as you can see, we had been working for 2 years before we started in Neza Bordo. And even though men were really interested in this information as well as women, what really made the difference in this prison was the warden, Veronica Jimenez, who is fully engaged in this work. She took this training and started applying these tools in a personal way. She could confirm that this program and this information can literally change lives. Veronica Jimenez is a remarkable leader. She really cares for people that are inside the prison, and she has created all kinds of initiatives that you will see to make them really change their lives. And one of those initiatives is to take this program within. So, thanks to her, we have been able to train now almost 1,500 people in Neza Bordo. We have trained men and women, including guards and administrative personnel. But the most important is that most of them are still meditating every day at 7 p.m. where the meditative audios are played. It's beautiful to witness how all of these people are a living example of this work by demonstrating possibility, but mostly by inspiring others with the way they behave to also change. They have even become part of our community because they participate from the inside of Neza Bordo, of this prison, in events such as Walk for the World, and they are literally changing their environment. As you can see, this prison is now a monastery, And these incarcerated are now creators that, believe it or not, have been creating and envisioning this visit for a long time. As you can imagine, of course, that everything was so interesting for Dr. Joe Dispenza. He was interested in getting to meet these beautiful people and understand how all this transformation is taking place. So last month, he came in to this prison to share his wisdom, but mostly his love. I'm sure a lot of you that are here with us today have seen these beautiful pictures of this visit. But today, you're going to get the opportunity to understand not only what we're teaching inside the prison, but what this prison looks like now that it's a monastery. So, Juanca, why don't you come in and share a little bit more in detail how this visit looked like?
Hi, thank you, Sonia. Hi, everyone. It was amazing, this visit, because when the warden, we call her, Veronica, but it's Vero for us because we are like family now. But Vero just took us to Dr. Joe and to us to all the facilities, to look for the facilities at the prison. And Dr. Joe had the opportunity to see like all the incarcerated people that were playing soccer. They have two soccer fields, like 7v7, the small soccer fields, but the soccer fields are just amazing, really, like one of a kind. They have everything. They have never have a fight there. They're just amazing. And also in that visit, you can see all the gardens that Vero has put in all the prisons, all over the prisons. Then we went to see the boxing ring. It's just incredible. Really, there were like people, just boxers, just fighting there for us and for Dr. Joe. They had 3 champions uh, um, doing exercise there. They are just amazing. And also when we went to the atrium before like the big talk, they receive us with honor, with music. They honor Dr. Joe with music. This group that they were like 10 people, this group, they win like the voice or the American Idol, but there is the voice of the prisons in all over Mexico, and they really did. They made a song for Dr. Joe. It was so impressive to look at them, to hear, and the love they put into it. It was so beautiful. Then uh, I I really want to tell you about Veronica's vision of when she first came into Neza Bordo prison. She had this vision of having the best facilities in all Mexico. But it was very curious because when I was teaching a workshop there, Veronica came to me and look how was the place that I was teaching. And it was, a small one. So she moved me to another place. And then that's where I met her. And so I invite her to have, to a workshop, and the same workshop that we teach in prisons. And she said, okay, yeah, I can go. It was on the weekend. So she went to take this workshop, and it was so beautiful after that because she took it and she really transformed. Next Monday, she came back to the prison and said, okay, I want guards, I want administrative people to take it, I want women, I want everyone to take it from the prison. And that changed everything that happened in prison for us, or for me. Really, it was so beautiful. So she has done so many things. She has created a lot without a lot of resources. If you can go in, it's really, as I said to her, the first time that I met her, the prison is cleaner than my house. Really, it's amazing how beautiful it is. Everything is painted, everything is clean. It was incredible. Then the warden took Dr. Joe to a wing. So we went to some cells. So Dr. Joe, you will see in the video that he was talking to incarcerated people in the cells, and it was so beautiful because they were talking one by one with Dr. Joe and hearing them the questions they were asking. It was from their heart. So you really cannot believe how, for me, was change. They changed me. And then at the end, we I wanted to talk to you about what Veronica change her vision, because her vision, as I talked before, I told you, is that was that the facilities, everything would be just the best thing. But from that workshop, she transformed the vision to became on changing heart and mind, not only the internal environment, but also hearts and mind of the incarcerated. And that changed everything. So, and Farwa, you can tell all of us how was it when we finished the looking at the facilities and we just entered to the action.
Gracias, Juanca. Thank you. So, guys, like Sonia and Juanca have been sharing, this opportunity to go to Neza as a team, to have Dr. Joe join us, was extremely powerful. The first thing that for us was wow was when we walked into this atrium where we had seen the group, who, by the way, are our students. The woman who sings there, she's been my student, and to just see her there singing in her white dress for Give to Give and for Dr. Joe was just so powerful, so beautiful. But the most powerful thing when we got there was that we had 550 men and women together in one place, a sense of unity. Normally, they are not together in the same space. We had the population of the incarcerated that have a sentence and the ones that don't have a sentence, which also normally are not together. And they were all there together, ready to listen to Dr. Joe, willing to learn more, to listen more, So we got there. Another thing that was extremely powerful was that all of them had a simultaneous translation device, like we do in a week-long retreat. For people that only speak Spanish, they had their simultaneous translation. We had flown in from Cancun. Nico, who is a translator for Spanish, was there with us with all the equipment. And these people were there listening to Dr. Joe teach live in their language. So, of course, Dr. Joe was teaching in English, but they were getting the information right away. And the teachings just started. We had a beautiful lecture where it was extremely powerful how Dr. Joe was connecting the dots to the training that they had had. Some of them had a training 2 weeks ago. I had a group of men that I had taught like right before the Cancun event, and they were there. Nothing is a coincidence. They were really close to me, and they were just like looking at me like, we know this information. You taught us this, but Dr. Joe, you know how he can teach. He was just giving the information in such a clear, powerful way with love, with a lot of firm, like being very clear about it. And something that was also extremely powerful was when we opened the opportunity for them to have a Q&A. We had men and women asking questions directly for Dr. Joe, and he found a way to turn these questions into powerful, teachable moments. People were getting their questions answered, but it was not only about the question. It was also about the teaching behind the question. So these were powerful, teachable moments. Every single question got answered in a way that was perfect for them. And after that, like the team already shared, we had a beautiful meditation where they had the opportunity to connect their brain and their heart, to have a meditation, brain and heart coherence live there with Dr. Joe, with the team, just like we do in any other retreat. And we also had the opportunity to practice together how to share, how to give love, and how to receive love. And we all know what happens when we are able to not only receive love, but to be able to give love. We know we can heal ourselves when that possibility is enabled for us and for these people who, many of them, have never felt love in this way in their life. So they had the neural network because they had taken the Change Your Mind, Create New Results training. They have the follow-up sessions that we do when we are there teaching. After the 3 days, we go back a month later. They have been to Walk for the World inside the prison. They are meditating daily. And this day together was such a powerful and beautiful gift, not only for them, but for us. Why was it a gift also for us? Because we could witness again together that every single person has the capacity to change, has the capacity to create a new self, and no person, no condition, and no circumstance can remove them from that vision once they realize they have that capacity to change, like any of us do. Any of us can do it. So it was a powerful day. And I want to hand it over to Maria Paula, who is going to share with us a bit more of this transformation that we've witnessed together for the past year at Neza Bordo prison. So over to you, Maria Paula.
Gracias, Fadwa. Thank you. So as Sonia said before, after a year of delivering this program in Neza Bordo, this place has become a true monastery. The warden, the leader in this prison, believed in us and believes in this work, and the shift started happening. This prison has become a monastery where people meditate daily, do walking meditations as part of the Dr. Joe's community around the world that gather with the intention to change the world, changing themselves. These people are a true living example of doing the work. Also, where people are being part of Coherence Healings since last June in collaboration with Sanación Cuántica, the Latin official group from Remote Coherence Healings. This is another example of how the warden believed in this work. She was the first person to receive a remote coherence healing. She opened to that possibility and opened the possibility for everyone else. Almost 350 incarcerated women and men, guards, staff, and their families have been in a coherence healing. Also, we had 2 in-person coherence healings last November and January with a group of beautiful volunteers from Sanación Cuántica as well. These people have been transforming their lives by doing the work, applying the tools delivered by the course Change Your Mind, Create New Results, meditating, doing walking meditations, and receiving and being part of coherence healings. At the Dr. Joe visit, the 550 people that were at the event had the opportunity to receive the teaching of how to work in coherence, how to open their hearts, and how to send love to the 40 sick healers that were at the atrium, ready to receive. We had a beautiful experience full of gratitude and compassion. Watch everyone determined to heal their companions with nothing more than to think about the well-being of the other was absolutely the unknown in this place. One of the healers told the warden after the event that he was so grateful in that place for being in the prison because it was in this place where he received love for the first time in his life. We are so proud of all of them, changing their lives in the most vulnerable and complicated environment, taking this time, this sentence, to become someone else. We believe in second chances. We believe that every human deserves to choose to live different and to learn how to get out of survival mode. So what's next is to keep inspiring all of you loving community to be a change maker, to keep believing in this project and to help more incarcerated people transform their lives. We are planning to teach the 40% of the total population in Neza Bordo, 2 more Mexican prisons in this year, and we are going to Chowchilla, that is the largest prison of women in the US, San Quentin and Minnesota in the next few months. Let's keep bringing hope and the tools so they can change themselves. Let's change the pattern in the field together. Let's be the leaders like the warden in our own families, communities, and neighborhoods. Let's lead by example. Thanks for being part of this, for believing and sharing the same clear intention with Give to Give and the same elevated emotions so this could be possible. So we are happy to show you a video of how this amazing experience we had with Dr. Joe and the Give to Give team. So thank you all that are aware of what we are doing, because without your help, we couldn't make this happen. This is to express our gratitude for all your donations and your love. Thank you.
All in all, we are one in this creation. One heart, one mind, keep lifting that vibration. Life is so beautiful, simply amazing. We all supernatural, we're history in the making. All in all, we are one in this creation. One heart, one mind, keep lifting that vibration. Life is so beautiful, simply amazing. Give to give,
let's rise to the occasion. Whoa, give to give, let's rise to the occasion. Whoa, give to give, let's rise to the occasion.
We're not breathing just to breathe, we breathe to live. We don't do this cause we have to, we give to give.
Have you ever been touched by an angel, touched from every angle?
I promise you that this exists. We're not breathing just to breathe, we breathe to live. We don't do this cause we have to, we give to give.
Have you ever been touched by an angel, trust from every angle?
I promise you that this exists.
Whoa, whoa.
I promise you that this exists.
Whoa, whoa.
I promise you that this exists. It's time for celebration. Let's close our eyes, fall deep in meditation. Take a deep breath in and start escaping. We all supernatural, we're history in the making. It's time for celebration. Let's close our eyes, fall deep in meditation.
I don't know about you guys, but I have goosebumps. That video is just unbelievable. It's so touching. You can just feel each of your hearts there in every moment. Okay, so I think that we're going to move into the Q&A section of today's session. We have some wonderful questions coming in, and I want to open up the floor for you guys to connect with our community and to answer some of what's coming up for people. So up first, I would love to invite Pia up to have her question answered. Pia, if you would like to come off of mute.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. My question was, do you have any experience in people leaving the monastery, going back to the world outside, and how they bring this teaching with them?
Thank you, Pia. I can share a little, and then I will have someone else in the team complement. We do have people from Neza Bordo and from other prisons that have left the monastery. And the first thing that for me is extremely powerful is that they feel grateful that they got the opportunity to get this information, these tools, before they go back, because they know they are going back to that same environment where they where they made mistakes. So from the previous prisons, I had maybe like 3-4 women that they knew they were going back, and I got to see them right before they were leaving, and they were sharing. They were sharing with me, Fadwa, I feel so grateful that I'm gonna be able to put this into practice, to bring it to life, and to share with my family, with my neighbors, with the people that surround me. I know it's not gonna be easy. They know that, but they do know that they can be greater than the environment. And just recently, someone who was also part of my group in Neza Bordo, she not only just left prison. In fact, this was a beautiful story. She was part of a remote coherence healing. She healed, and I will let Maria Paula share a little bit more about that part of the story, because she's the one who has been coordinating and making this possible. And she left at the end of last year. And something extremely beautiful was that Veronica, the warden, invited her to come join us for the visit that we had at the beginning of this month. She was there. She was already free, but she was able to join and to be there, to listen to Dr. Joe, to meditate with all of us live. But we are still in the process, to be specific about the question and the answer, of how we can create something more sustainable for people that go outside in terms of follow-up. However, we do have these examples of people that we have taught that have the tools and go outside. And Maria Pau, I don't know if you want to share. I know you are in contact with her, with this beautiful lady.
Yeah, her name is Yvonne. Yvonne is now free and also free of uterine cancer. She was healed. She was healed with 6 remote coherence healings. And also she was in person in a coherence healing inside the prison. And well, she was doing the work because she received the NCS training with Fadwa. So she was meditating. She was part of the Walk for the World. And she is doing the work. So she healed, she's outside, and she is, of course, when she went out, it was difficult for her, but she never stopped doing the work. And I think it's all about that. So it's a beautiful example of how this work is going to help people when they go outside.
Thank you so much. Up next, I would love to invite Chris Heron up to have his question answered.
Hi, thank you. I think Maria Paula actually answered it. I would like to hear some other stories of transformation that you have seen inside a prison. And thank you for all the wonderful work y'all are doing.
Well, it's not even the exception. Every single training that we go into, we have beautiful transformations. We have lots of them even written in paper. One of them that really impacted me and was at the beginning of these trainings in the first prison was a woman that had not even realized that she was using her daughter sexually before she wasn't going into prison, and that's the way she lived. And she was in prison and she hated her daughter because her daughter placed her into prison. So with this training, with this transformation, the first thing she realized is that she had to forgive her daughter. Imagine that. What kind of lives these people should have when they're kids in order for them to block themselves and not even realize whatever they did wrong. So this kind of information first allowed them to realize what really happened and then forgive themselves. Because after a while, when I came back to the follow-up sessions, she finally realized the whole thing. She was a completely different person. She didn't even use makeup anymore. She had been writing in her journal for 66 days. And she finally realized money is not the answer. And what I did was because I was created by monsters and I became one. So now that I know that it wasn't my fault, I'm not gonna go into guilt again now that I realize what I did. I just went back, I asked for forgiveness to my kids, and they say that they love me. So I still get very emotional with this testimonial, because what she realized is that going into guilt is not the answer. She's going to get stuck in a new emotion. It's about now, from now further to the future. And after a while, when I came back, she was not there anymore. She was transferred. She was transferred away from her family, because sometimes they just transfer them to different cities. And I was like so attached to her that people could tell that we were close. And one of them came and told me, she told me that she wanted me to tell you that she's okay, that she knows that if this came from the unknown, it's because she created that. And wherever she's going to go, she's going to help people to change too. And she even gave me her workbook, and she has inspired a lot of women here to take this training because she knows it works. So that's one of 1,000 testimonies that we can share with you of how people change, even within the prison and even with the same situation over and over again.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
I also want to share stories of transformation. The last one that I want to share was this guy. After 1 month and a half of taking the workshop, he healed himself from diabetes and hypertension just using the tools, and that's very easy tools to use. And I was in shock when he said that to me, because just imagine, after 1 month and a half using the tools, breathe, it's very easy tools to use it, and he was just healed from diabetes and hypertension. Just imagine that. And that for me has been an example. And another guy told me that her mom didn't visit him from years. So then when he started the workshop, and in the follow-up sessions, he started to talk to her sister about, something different stuff, not guilty anymore, just talking to her sister. And her sister told his mom that, Mom, I don't know what's going on with your son, but he's changing. So she went to visit him. And when they were, just imagine this guy after years of not, being with his mom. So they started to talk and learn from each other. His mom asked first, like, what's going on with you? Why are you changing so much? And so he didn't say anything. He just said, no, I'm just another one. And her mom, his mom told him that this is the first time in my life that you ask me, how I am, not how you are. So how I am doing my life. And she was so impressed. And at the end of the visit, his mom again asked him, like, can I ask you something? Can you do it for me? And of course, he said, anything you want, mother. And she asked her son if she can kiss him before, she leaves. And that's pure love. That's a huge heartbreaking story for me. And that's only 2 or 3 or 4 stories, but we have hundreds of them.
Thank you, Wanka and Sonia. It's those stories. I mean, they never ever get old, and they're not kidding when they say that they have hundreds of them. Up next, would love to invite Selen up to ask your question. Selen, do you want to come off of mute?
Yes, hello. Thank you, everybody. And I love seeing some familiar faces here too. How has the environment in the prison changed in their day-to-day lives, both for the incarcerated, but also for the staff who work there? Thank you.
I can share what I've witnessed mainly with the women, because believe it or not, Sonia and I always joke that we thought that teaching the men inside the prison would be harder than teaching the women. And we had to break that belief. In fact, the women normally when they get there, even though they sign up for it the first day, their body is resisting a lot to get this new information, to get these new tools. And the men are just there, like, ready to listen, no? So anyway, some of the consistent stories that we've witnessed, not only at Neza Bordo, this is consistent when I was supporting Sonia in Ecatepec and when I was teaching in the previous prison in Chalco. What starts to happen is that, first of all, the environment, the immediate environment, the cells start to change from not talking to each other, from disliking each other, even hating each other. They start to become a community. They start to become like a little family. And they share with us like, hey, before, if there was a problem, my automatic reaction would be to get in a fight, to hit my cellmate. And you saw they're really crowded in there. So it's really easy to react. So the first thing is they become conscious and aware of not reacting. They know that many times is an automatic response of their body that is very conditioned to that. They want to respond with anger, with fear, with frustration. So the first step is they stop to react. The second thing that starts to happen is that they start to talk within their cell. They start to support each other. They start to make decisions that are good for everyone. And they share with us, like, our cell starts to become like a safe space. If I am going to get in trouble with someone outside, my cellmate, who, at least in Neza Bordo, they come together to the workshop. So my cellmate will grab me and be like, hey, let's go somewhere else. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go back to our cell. That's the second thing that starts to happen. The third thing is that they start to inspire each other. How? Leading by example. And when we come to the follow-ups, they tell us, no, this girl, she was always very aggressive. She would be the first one to get on a fight. And we have seen her. She's no longer fighting. She's no longer reacting. In fact, she's actually started studying. She started to learn something new. So they start to inspire each other from experience. And the other thing, to the question regarding the guards, Neza Bordo, as the team shared, is the first time that the guards have been able to be part of this program. They have the information, they have the tools. So they also start to change. They get out of the automatic conditioning of doing things maybe in an aggressive way or from a place of, like reaction, and they start to talk. They start to do things in a way that is better for the whole environment. So that's what we have witnessed. That's the reason that we literally have seen this place transform into a monastery, little by little, but the energy has changed radically.
And I would like to add, Faba, I agree completely with what you said, but the last point is that they start inspiring their environments outside, their families. Families can notice their change just by talking on the phone and saying, you're not drunk anymore. What's going on with you? So they start visiting them. A lot of people, mostly women, are alone, are abandoned when they come to prison. Why? Because that's the way cultures are here in Mexico. So whenever they start to change, they are the example for their environments outside, even though they're not here with them. And that's where we start seeing the ripple effect. They start asking them, what book can I give? What book can I tell my mom to buy? What meditation can I ask them to go? Where can they take this information outside? So it's a ripple effect that we now still don't know how big it is.
Thank you both. To wrap up the Q&A portion of today's session, I thought that it would be really fun to go around the room and hear from each of you in a couple sentences how this work, how seeing these transformations take place in the most difficult circumstances on earth has changed your life personally and your experience with the work.
Oh,
Ladies first.
I can start. I started this work 3 years ago, so it's been a real long journey, and I never keep changing. I mean, it's never enough. I keep changing and evolving every single time. But one of the things that really shifted completely in me is that I thought that by doing this work in my daily life, I was becoming a better person. But when I started training these prisons, I realized that there's always more gratitude to feel, a lot more. It's a lot more. My heart is a lot more wide open. And this gratitude allowed me to live my life in a completely different way. It's not only applying the work in a personal level, but by witnessing others changing their lives in such challenging conditions is so inspiring that challenge me to be better every single day and to be grateful for every single small tiny thing, because we are really, really blessed to have the lives that we have, and with that comes a lot of responsibility too.
I can go next. Very similar to Sonia, and I'm laughing because I remember we were talking about this at a week-long retreat when Dr. Joe was explaining the oneness and how you get closer to source. We experience that every single time that we go teach at the prison. Whenever I think, oh my God, there cannot be more love, there cannot be more gratitude, there is always more. Like the stories, the examples, the transformations. For me, that's the first thing. And the second thing is that I am constantly re-inspired by these people, because I've always been very passionate about change and transformation and growth. But when I see these people who have made mistakes in the past, many times forced by the environment, by the conditions, they have made mistakes, but they choose to create something different for themselves, for their families, even for the people that live with them, that are like their family inside the prison. And for me, that opportunity to inspire them by giving them the tools, but then witnessing everything they achieve, for me, that is the biggest source of inspiration. And when I go teach at companies and they tell me like, oh, but come on, are you sure? I'm like, guys, if people inside prison can do this, any of us can do it. So for me, that's been a super powerful experience. And like Sonia mentioned, we also have to be evolving all the time to be ready, to be, because the questions get harder. The experience just keeps evolving, and that keeps us just to continue to get ready and evolve.
Yeah, and for me, it has really, like Tonia and Fala said, they inspire me so much. I have been, almost a year, every 15 days, I go there and I, have these workshops with them, and they have inspired me so much to create in my life, to create so many things that for me, 2023 has been the most creative year of my life. And I have always noticed that the changes they are doing inside, the prison, and they are inspiring 100,000 people outside, because I can see that if I want to see a change in Mexico, or if I want to see a change in other country, it maybe could take 20 years, for example. But if they change inside the prison from inside out, it will take maybe 5 years or 10 at the most. How they inspire me and how they inspire so many people, that's the most that I know I'm getting from them. I do bike road, I do some exercise, and when I am so tired, I just think about them and just go with it. It's just so beautiful. They have inspired me, my kids, my family, everyone.
And well, for me, since 2021, when I saw Sonia on stage talking about this project, I got so inspired. And for me, it's like a daily thing I think about, because as Dr. Joe said, when it's the hardest, it matters the most. So these people are the example of the truth of being in the most complicated environment, and how can they do the work daily, and how can they change. So for me, they are all about inspiration and also compassion and love. So it's the example of how we have to be with everyone without judgment, without separation. So for me, it's pure love to be with these people.
Powerful, powerful reflections, each of you. And we've talked a lot about transformation today, so we wanted to show you firsthand a testimonial from somebody who has been really changed by this work. And it's a beautiful story, so let's pull up that video and let you see firsthand what it means to change inside of Neza Bordo.
Crecí en un ambiente pues de golpes, un entorno agresivo con mi papá, entonces, pues desde los 6 años fui así, hasta ahora que tengo los 46, pues pensaba de esa manera, que como mi papá me decía que siempre se ganaba el respeto con golpes, pues yo lo hacía. Pero al llegar a este lugar y conocer las meditaciones y saber más del Señor Joe Dispenza, pues he cambiado. Y sí es cierto que la mente y el cuerpo, yo siento que lo manda más el corazón, porque ahora ya no tengo ganas de golpear a la gente, sino de tratar de lidiar para que no haya ya un conflicto más grande. Y ya no me hago de respeto con la agresividad, sino que ahora he ganado el respeto y el compañerismo de verdad dando amor. Y después de la sesión en donde de verdad se cura con amor a la gente, a mí, por ejemplo, me costó mucho trabajo voltear las manos de tanto amor que manda uno con la gente que no conocemos, pero que sí tenemos la dedicación de ayudar. Y pues en este lugar sí se necesita mucho de esto. Y de verdad a mí sí me ha ayudado a ayudar a la gente, pero ahora lo hago de corazón, ya no golpeando a la gente. Yo lo sentí así. Ahora sí se puede hablar, sí se puede actuar con la mente, el cuerpo y el corazón.
Isn't that just amazing to hear firsthand from somebody whose life has been changed? And I know we keep saying this, but we seriously do hear story after story after story of lives that are changed like this. Now, we've gotten a lot of questions about volunteering, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging on this. We've been sending some links in the chat where you can go to our website and sign up to be a volunteer. But I just wanted to reiterate that those links are in the chat. Just fill out your information, the area that you're interested in volunteering, and we will get back to you as we're starting to kind of build that out in the areas that we're servicing. You know, I'm so grateful to have had Juan Carlos, Fadwa, Sonia, and Maria Paula here with us today. I always say that just when you hear them talk firsthand about the impact that this work has had on them, it's really hard not to believe that change is taking place. Because if change is possible with these people, with people that are living with 10 people in a room, with people that have every force in the world working against them, whose freedom has been taken away from them, if it's possible for them, it's possible for anyone. And you are not excluded from that. If change is possible for people in the most difficult circumstances, it is absolutely possible for you. And we just feel so blessed that we are able to play a small part in bringing these tools to the people and places where they can do the most good, because that's truly what we're doing, is bringing tools. And these people are taking their lives into their own hands and creating change. Because if you plant that seed for hope in someone, it's remarkable what is possible, especially in people who may have never had somebody believe in them before. So we've talked a lot about change today, and we're a community that practices what we preach. So we want to invite you all to come together to do Dr. Joe's Generating Change meditation. We're going to meditate together in community and close this session in the vibration of connection. So thank you all so much for joining us. Please enjoy.
Eyes closed. Take a breath. love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. Into your heart. Feel it. Notice it. Your heart. And breathe a little love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. Into your heart. And breathe in for love. To your heart. And exhale. And relax. And let a little more love to your heart. Breathe for love into your heart. And exhale. And relax. And let love into your heart. And let the thought of someone you love bring up the feeling of love. In your heart. Feel it. Hold them in that feeling. In your heart. Hold them in your heart. Feel it. Now put their heart in your heart. And feel your love for them. In your heart. That's your love You're giving them in their heart. Feel it. That's energy. In your heart. That's energy. In their heart. That's your energy. In their heart. That's love. Your love. In their heart. That's love. In your heart. Feel it. Experience it. Enjoy it. That's the love you want them to feel. In their heart. Feel it. In your heart. Feel your connection to them. In your heart. One heart. That's love. In one heart. Feel it. Become one. In your heart. That's love. Your love. For their heart. That's your love. In your heart. Feel it. in your heart. That's energy. In your heart. That's a little more oneness. In your heart. That's your connection. To love. In your heart. That's the feeling. You want people you love to feel in their heart. And remember, this feeling know it by heart. That's life. In your heart. Who do you want to be? When you open your eyes. In your heart. Feel it. Your heart. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And come back to the realm of space and time. Remember, there's love in your heart.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this session. It has been really, truly special to have each of you here with us and to be able to connect you with this mission and the work that's being done in the prisons in such a personal way. We are a community-powered nonprofit, which means that we are literally only able to bring these tools into prisons because of this very community. We were started by Dr. Joe Dispenza's students, and we are now just trying to bring the tools of practical neuroscience to people that otherwise wouldn't have access to them. So if you're interested in supporting this initiative, in supporting continuing to bring this work into prisons and expand it as far as possible, I shared the link in the chat where you can donate, and I also shared the email to ask any questions that we weren't able to get to in today's session. We do these sessions monthly, and next month we have a very special learning session with Barry Goldstein, who composes and provides the music for many of Dr. Joe's meditations. We had 2 parts with him previously, the role of music on heart coherence and the role of music on brain coherence. And this will be the 3rd and final session in that series, which will be focused on how to create and implement your own music program for transformation. That is going to be April 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern, and is going to be an amazing experience. So you can watch the last 2 sessions on our YouTube if you want to check them out. And it's a complimentary session. Again, as always, we would love to have you join us for that. And thank you all for your heart, for your kindness, for supporting our mission, and for being here today. We will see you next time.